let's talk Saleh, because as good of a job as Kyle Shanahan is doing, Robert Saleh is doing at least as good of a job. Where do you see him? What's next for Robert?
Yeah, head coaching gig. That's it. Yeah. He's gone. I thought what he did yesterday, and I felt the game plan was just absolutely brilliant. Just going back to what I talked about first, having them slide their protection and all those fire zone blitzes, Arizona couldn't pick them up. And that's because from what I've read and understand, the air raid offense doesn't have a very complex protection scheme. It's simple. So they beat that protection scheme to death. And then the number two thing was
because it's only 5 and 6 man protections. That's all it is.
Right.
I mean, basically, it's 5 guys and maybe a running back who slides one way or the other based on, you know what I mean? It's probably you can figure it out in 10 minutes.
Right. And then the other thing was I still read on Twitter, right? He can't stop the mobile quarterback when Kyler Murray runs for 20 yards. Like, how are you supposed to stop that? Please explain it to me.
Right.
The guy is running. He might be the fastest. He's as fast as Tyreek Hill. That's how it looks sometimes because he just shoots out of a cannon and decides, I'm going to go get this because the play call stinks. And so with Cliff's play call, that is. And so the other thing was they were super physical with these receivers and they were jumping these shorter routes.
Real quick, before we move on from Kyler, the thing about with Kyler I think is key is it's not he's going to run for 50 as you said. But you can't let these mobile quarterbacks escape to their right because then they can run or throw. If they run to their left, they're running and you can corral them and you can hit them and you can do what you got to do, but you can't let them get to the right. And that's what Josh Allen did. That's what Carson Wentz did. Okay, I'm just chilling on the right here, and now I can wait. No, you can't let that happen. And they stopped that. So
they blitzed into where they thought they were going to force him to escape. And the other thing was they would drop out their defensive tackle because he doesn't step up in the pocket. He likes to go around and escape he's that fast. He's that fast. Yeah. So since he doesn't step up in the pocket, you don't have to have your defensive tackle push the pocket. Right. You can have him drop off and kind of run him down. And, everybody was like, oh, DJ Jones did remember when he ran down Kyle Allen? He can really explode.
Contavious Street is fast too.
And his job isn't to go tackle Kyler in the open field. It's just to move Kyler closer to the sideline and then they'll rally and tackle him. But yeah, I thought the game plan was brilliant. I thought it just emphasized on why he should be a head coach. Yeah, Cliff did that because
we're going to talk about Cliff a little later. Yeah, Golden Nuggets. Cliff. We got a lot to say, but we need to stick with Saleh. Dude's really good. Everyone's going to do that from now on. I mean, that's now what they're going to face.
If you can't just play like where you have a Jalen Ramsey or a Gilmore that you can put on DeAndre Hopkins because that's the easiest way to stop them, right? Because DeAndre Hopkins is really their only weapon.
Yes.
And Verrett had a great game, but it wasn't like Verrett took him in man the entire game. No. They did a lot of different things, but the one thing Verrett did was he was really physical with him at the line of scrimmage, and he really made him work. Verrett, I think you really highlighted this after the game, that Verrett basically just emphasized in that game why he needs to be one of their most sought after.
Step back. He was the difference between week 1 and week 16. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Right. So he's fantastic. There's no doubt about that. But yeah, I would agree with the overall assessment I think everybody has. Like Robert Saleh is for sure going to be a head coach. And I really hope he's going to be a really good one too, just because I really like Robert Saleh. I know I've been critical of Robert Saleh, but the guy is fantastic just as a person. He's impossible to not like as a person. So I hope
he gets that job in Jacksonville.
If I'm him, that's the one I was
obviously.
Yeah, that's the one I'm going for. Because to me, Washington I just read Washington releasing Haskins here in the comments, so I went there. But to me, Jacksonville is the job of jobs. To me, that's a playoff team next year. Here's why. You get Trevor Lawrence, who's supposed to be the generational quarterback prospect, and I think he's that good. He looks just fantastic. And you get that. And at every premium, they have $80 million of cap space, 5 picks in the top 65. And at every premium position, they have a young, cheap player with a ton of potential because he was picked in a higher round. They have 2 pass rushers like that in Josh Allen and Caleb Von Chason. They have a corner in CJ Henderson, and they have a right tackle in Juwan Taylor, who was a second-round pick. So if Saleh wants to get a job, that would be the job because that's a playoff team to me. And that, if it's built right, can be a juggernaut.
Let me ask you a better question about Saleh, because it really doesn't matter where he goes from Niner fans' perspective. What matters from Niner fans' perspective is who's going with him, especially on the coaching staff, and what will his loss mean to this team? The way I look at it is It almost reminds me a little bit of when Kyle left Atlanta. I mean, now Kyle's a lot better than Dan Quinn, but Saleh has carried this team the last 2 years. As good as the offense has been, it's been a defensive team. He's going to take some position coaches too. It's going to be interesting. What do you think is going to happen to this team and this defense when he leaves?
So, two things. One, I still think the defense is going to end up being okay. I don't think the new coordinator is going to be as good as Robert Saleh, but I think Kyle Shanahan is that good at managing the entire picture when it comes to his coaches and players in terms of development. I think they're going to find a way to still game plan well. And the other thing is,
plus, if he can find the original Robert Saleh, they can probably find the next Robert Saleh. That was impressive.
Right. And if my thing is, if they drafted Brandon Ayuk, they drafted Deebo Samuel, they drafted Jalen Hurd, they drafted Kittle, they're about to pay Trent Williams, they drafted Mike McGlinchey. The evolution of this team is to now flip. It should be an offensive team a bit more with good defensive players on a middling defense.
Agree.
So that's where I think that change is going to happen, especially if they get their quarterback. Then it should be an offensive team. I mean, this offense is loaded too. And you have a defense that still will have Nick Bosa, Fred Warner, hopefully Jason Verrett, Jimmy Ward, players of that caliber. It should still be a pretty to very good defense. It won't be as good without Robert Saleh, but I think they'll be okay.
Well, final question on this. Who do you think would replace him?
So I really would like it to be Raheem Morris. But
is his stock not through the roof right now? I mean, they should have.
I don't understand, but I've been preaching Raheem Morris. I feel like since week 5 and week 6. Man. I thought he would be Kyle Shanahan's original defensive coordinator, and then Dan Quinn blocked him. He saved Dan Quinn's job last year by switching over from receivers coach to defensive coordinator. I thought he didn't get a fair shake in Tampa Bay because he did go 10-6 with Josh Freeman, and he shut out the 49ers at Candlestick with Josh Freeman. Pretty impressive.
I think it's going to be him.
I think it should be him. But then Kyle yesterday said that we have guys here. So the other guy would be everybody's saying DeMeco Ryans. But I think another name to watch if Saleh doesn't take him is the guy from Jacksonville they brought in as the pass game coordinator, Rutenberg. Right. They brought him in as a pass game defensive coordinator, which to me indicates that maybe if you're giving him a coordinator title, then you're probably thinking that maybe he can be your defensive coordinator. I don't know what they think of him. I don't know if he's just a Saleh guy. I know nothing like that, but he's just another name that I don't think has been circulated, but it's a possible one to watch. But I think the more likely
he might be more of an idea guy. I think they're grooming DeMeco as the kind of like Ken Norton, but good.
Right.
Kind of.
Right.
So what I would say is I think DeMeco is going to end up being a coordinator somewhere next year, either on the Niners or wherever Saleh goes. That could be what happens. Or he could end up being Saleh's DC.
Or I was thinking the opposite. I was thinking the Niners elevate DeMeco and Saleh's DC is Rutenberg. Or
I was just thinking that I still think that Raheem Morris might be the guy that the Niners get.
I think he should be. He should be. And I think if Raheem Morris came here and was the guy, one, I don't think from Robert Saleh it's that steep of a drop. I think he's pretty close. I think he's that good. And two, I think Raheem Morris deserves to get another chance as a head coach in the NFL. And this would be the best place if he doesn't get it this year to come as a DC and with Kyle Shanahan and get a head coaching job again.